Okay, so now that we are being recorded, I will go ahead and share my screen and we can go ahead and get started. Okay. All right. Well, greetings, Nina, and for everyone who will be watching this virtually. We are greatly appreciative that you decided to join us today. And so, what we'll be talking about is actually a passport to the world, looking to apply for a U.S. passport. So, I'm Crystal Williams, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the session. So just a little bit about me. I am the Assistant Director for the UIC Study Abroad Office. I've been part of the office for quite a few years, and I have actually been a passport holder for 14 years, and I've been to about 13 countries with my passport. So one thing that I do discuss with students, or I tell them when they come to talk to me about study abroad, I just ask them, why not take advantage of an opportunity that can change your life? Definitely being able to experience other cultures, other lands that are part of the world will definitely change your life for the good forever. So let's go ahead and get into what we'll be talking about today. In terms of our agenda, we'll be discussing what a passport is. We'll be looking at what the benefits of a passport, having a US passport are, and then we'll talk about how you can get a passport, what the application process looks like. We're going to go over how much it costs to get a passport. And then also, of course, we'll talk and lastly have questions. We'll open it up for questions if anyone has any questions, and you can come off of mute at the end, but feel free to put your questions also in the chat box as we go along as well. Okay. So, what is a passport exactly? So, a passport is considered to be a travel document, usually issued by a country's government system to its citizens that verifies their identity and their nationality, of course, for the person who's holding it. And what it's primarily used for. So, for example, if you are a US passport holder, when you go to other countries, you will be identified as as an American citizen upon entry to that particular country. And so, similar to an ID card or a birth certificate, a passport is actually a legal form of identification. So, in former years, when people used to travel to other countries, they used to carry around their birth certificates. Sometimes they had, of course, driver's license, state IDs, and they even had something called transit letters that gave them a description of being able to have permission of being in that particular country that they went to. So the passport that we have now, it's a small booklet that's actually been reduced. It's a little small thing that you can carry around with you. And inside they have a microprocessing chip that contains all of the information that essentially your birth certificate and your social security card, your state ID, all of this information is now in this passport booklet that you'll be able to carry. So if you're planning, I'm sorry about that, if you're planning to go to other countries, then a passport is required, of course, for protection. Oh, sorry about that. So you will need it again to go to other countries to get in to other countries, but you'll also need it to leave the US and to get back in here as well. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits of having a passport. So first and foremost, having a US passport will actually give you access to over 180 different countries that you can travel to. And for some of those countries, because of the relationship that the US has with them, you won't need a visa to enter those countries. And so for those who have never heard of what a visa is, it's not just solely your credit or debit card selection when you want to make purchases, but it's actually a special permission that you can get from a country that you plan on going to. And normally through the government officials, you'll have to maybe visit what is called a consulate just to turn in certain documentation and to state your claim as to why you would like to actually visit that country. So the consulate will, of course, depending on your reason for going, they will give you the permission and grant you access to that country and going. And this is also like a paper stamp that's normally put into one of the back pages of your passport so that when you go to enter that country, they'll be able to see that you have been given permission to be there for the purpose in which you intend to visit. Okay, and so one of the other perks of having a US passport, and this is actually one of my favorite ones. So when you utilize your passport and when you go to another country, when you exit and enter that country, at the customs checkpoint, there's someone who normally works who will check your credentials and they'll give you a stamp in your passport. And this normally indicates which country you've traveled to. It'll let you know the dates that you entered and exited. And it's, of course, just definitely a wonderful way of keeping track of all the places that you've gone. And, every now and again, when you have a moment of reflection of where you have traveled in the world, you can maybe just go back through that passport booklet and remember the good times that you had. Okay, another benefit to having it is, of course, as mentioned before, instead of carrying your state ID or your driver's license or your birth certificate, you now will be able to carry the passport as your sole form of ID. So it replaces all of those other items that you used to have to carry. And then lastly, as a US citizen, you actually have special rights and protections when you have a US passport. So, I'm sorry. So when you go to other countries, of course, the highest priority for the US is to protect its citizens wherever it goes. So what normally takes place is if something happens, and we're hoping, for example, none of these things will ever take place, but let's say, someone, a US citizen was to go to another country, and if something took place to where they got arrested, well, what ends up taking place is that the US Department of State can normally help you in finding a lawyer, making sure that you're treated fairly. And of course, it depends on the gravity of your situation, but in a lot of times, the local US embassy or the consulate located in that country can actually help you in your situation. So as a US citizen, you'll be protected with the US passport. Okay. So let's talk about how do we get a passport. So to start, you'll need to visit the US Department of State website at travel.state.gov. And when you get to their homepage, it should look like this. And then you'll click on this button here where it says need a passport. So once you click on that, it will then take you to a page that looks like this, and this screen where it says apply in person. And this is also, again, for individuals who've never had a passport, and we'll talk about those who need to renew in a bit, but if you've never had a passport and you want to apply for one, you will have to apply in person for a passport, okay? So you'll just click here where it says apply in person, and then you'll reach this page where it will take you to the gray toggles. And what these gray toggles outline are additional insight for the criteria that you'll actually need for applying for your passport. So for those items that you'll need, the first one, of course, is the application, which will be the DS-11 form. And the DS-11 form, once you get to it here, it actually will look like this. So on the right side, this is what the DS-11 form looks like. But on the left side here of the presentation, it gives you the instructions on how to start going about filling it out. So you can actually use the form filler, or you can use the PDF, download it and fill it out. And you will need to print this out to take to the facility when you get ready to apply. Okay. So let's go and talk a little bit about the additional information that you'll need, the additional items that you'll need to apply. So here, for number one, you of course will need evidence of your US citizenship. So if you were born in the US, you can submit your US birth certificate, or if you had a passport before, you can submit your fully valid undamaged US passport, which can be expired if it has reached its limit. And then you'll also need to provide a copy of your government issued photo, something like a state ID or a driver's license. Don't go with your iCard because they won't take that, but go with a valid form of government ID. And for three, you will need a new passport photo. So their criteria, you can find it on their website, just double check it, but they do normally require a 2x2 color photo that has to be taken in the last 6 months with a white background. So again, make sure you check their website for any requirements. And most times people can go and get these at a Walgreens or a CVS somewhere that has some type of photo services. You can get a passport photo taken. And then lastly, of course, you'll have to pay for your passport application. So you'll need to make sure that you submit any checks or primarily money orders, which is accepted at any passport acceptance facility. But make sure you get the correct form of payment and check their website as well regarding what payments you can use and what the cost will be. And then here's another important note I wanted to mention. Make sure that you make a photocopy of everything. Most times they do encourage that you do this so that they don't take the originals, and also so that your original birth certificate or license is not lost. So make sure you make a copy of everything to submit with your application when you go to submit it. Okay. All right. So submitting your application. So once you've gotten all of your items together, you are going to be able to go to a passport acceptance facility. And of course, if you need to travel sooner, you may be able to actually apply at the Chicago Passport Agency. But due to COVID, most international travel, of course, is being restricted. And then processing for this is also a little bit delayed. So you can only get that by appointment only. So if you're interested in, expediting that, you can contact them and see if you can get an appointment to get in. But you also need to go on their website. You can go to see if you'll be eligible to do that at the Get My Passport Fast website. So make sure that you check before you go. Okay. All right, so there are a number of passport acceptance facilities throughout Chicago. The red dot here on the map is actually the Chicago Passport Agency, where I was just mentioning you going to apply in person for your passport. But there are many other acceptance facilities throughout the Chicagoland area, particularly close to campuses. You can see where we are here, the gray bubble with the graduation cap. That's the University of Illinois. But there are a number of different acceptance facilities that you can go to based on wherever you are. So what you could do is actually visit the U.S. Department of State website, and they have an area on the website where you can go to put in your zip code, and it will let you know that the website will let you know what acceptance facilities are readily available in your area. But these are just a few. There's a Chicago Passport Agency downtown, and then you got a postal service, a U.S. Postal Service station on Chinatown, and then you got another one on Harrison. You can go to the South Side and go to the Morgan Park station. All of these facilities will accept your application for you to get a passport. Okay. All right, and so let's talk a bit about those who already have a passport but just need it renewed. Well, the process is a little slightly different for you in that you don't necessarily need to resubmit all of your documentation to renew a passport. You'll need to fill out a different form, and it's a DS-82 form, which is a little shorter than the DS-11. And then you also still need to submit a most recent passport photo. If you have your actual passport, then you'll need to submit that. Of course, it cannot be damaged. It has to be in good shape and functioning well if it's not expired, and or if it is expired, again, it can be expired, but you will need to have that. If you had a name change, then you can submit your name change document. So let's say you got married and you wanted to submit your marriage certificate, you'll need to submit that just so that they know that they can put your new name on your passport. Again, a photo, a 2x2 color that was taken in the last 6 months with a white background. And it'll be a possibility for you to renew by mail or in person. So this is a picture of the beginning of the DS-82. And once you go through these questions, if you've answered no for any of them, then it's a strong indication that you'll actually need to fill out a different form to get a passport. But once you go through and check out the eligibility, if all of these checks are yes to these questions, then this is the form that you should use. And if you, of course, if you need clarity, you can always visit the U.S. Department of State website to confirm which application best suits your situation. And so for those who would like to possibly renew by mail, these are the items that you need to make sure that you can say yes to. So you have to, of course, have your passport in your possession. It has to be undamaged with nothing other than the normal wear and tear. It has to have been issued to you when you were age 16 or older. It has to be issued to you within the last 15 years. And then lastly, again, according to the name change, it has to be issued to you in your current name, or you have to be able to provide documentation of your name change. If you cannot say that you have all of these things fulfilled, if you're lacking any of these items, then you will have to apply in person at an acceptance facility to get your new passport. Okay. All right, so let's talk a bit about how much a passport actually costs. So for those looking to obtain a brand new passport, it will cost you $110 plus the execution or acceptance fee of $35. And for those who want to renew a passport, it's going to cost you only the $110. And the routine processing time to receive your passport is 10 to 12 weeks. But of course, if you're looking to expedite the process and you'd like to get your passport in a 4 to 6 week time frame, then you can pay $60 additional for this service. So just, of course, make sure you double check the Department of State website to verify the correct forms of payment that'll be accepted. But I also want to make a note here on this page. So the Department of State, these boxes where it has the application fees came directly from the Department of State. And so they not only issue passport books, but they also issue passport cards. And I do want to talk about the difference between the two. So in as much as both the book and the card are considered to be real ID, provides proof of your citizenship to the US, the passport cards are actually very limiting. They only allow you to travel to Mexico, to Canada, to the Caribbean, and to Bermuda. You'll only be able to enter the US at land border crossings and at seaports. So you won't be able to utilize your passport card if you're looking to do international travel over the airways. So no getting on a plane with a passport card, okay? With a passport book, you can travel internationally by land, air, or sea. And again, it'll give you access to 180 different countries that you can go to around the world. So we definitely encourage our students when applying for a passport to get a passport book so that you can go to many different areas, get on a plane and go wherever it is that you so desire to go. But if you want to get the passport card too, if you think you may be going on a cruise, leaving from, let's say, the port of Florida, going to Mexico and, coming back, you're more than welcome to get that card. If you go to Canada often and visit with friends or family, the passport card would serve you well, but you definitely want to have a book if you're considering international travel, and getting on a plane going across the seas, okay? I saw a question, if I may, let me go back.
Oh, sorry, Crystal. It was just me. I was just
Oh,
commenting about processing times being longer due to the pandemic. So apply
oh,
now, even if you're not sure you'll be traveling anytime soon.
okay, thanks for that, Kyle, appreciate it. Okay, so let's continue on. So what exactly can you do with your passport? Well, you can study abroad. I'm sorry, I'm having a little mouse issue here. All right, so according to the 2018 Open Doors data, here are actually the top destinations that US study abroad students went to when they studied abroad. And just looking at the top 5 countries, you can see that students decided to go to the United Kingdom, they went to Italy, they went to Spain, France, and to Germany. And again, here's a shameless plug for UIC Study Abroad, for the office that I work in, I'm part of. We not only have programs in those top 5 destinations, but we have over 200 programs in 87 different locations for our students to choose from. And we have a variety of different programs that you can also choose from as well. We do exchange programs, we have faculty directed programs, we do third-party provider or partnership programs, you can do an internship abroad, you can do service learning abroad, and we also even have virtual international opportunities as well. So whatever it is that you may be looking for academically, or even on a professional or personal level, we can assist you with finding a program that fits and fulfills what it is that you're looking for to do overseas. So with that being said, one last question is, when you get your passport, where will your passport take you? So this actually ends the presentation, and now we'll open it up for any questions that you may have. Well, Nina, if you had any questions, I'd be happy to answer yours.
Oh, it looks like she put in the chat she doesn't.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right. Well, again, thank you for joining. So glad that we were able to have this presentation. And if you all have any questions or concerns, you're more than welcome to contact us. You can visit our website at studyabroad.uic.edu. You can email sao@uic.edu if you have any questions or would like to start the process. And the phone number is for when we are back in office, but find us virtually, visit us on our website. You can definitely find us on the internet, on the web. All right. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Crystal. Thanks for being here, Nina. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a
Bye.
good one.
You too. Thanks, Nina.